Luke chapter 6 and verse 26. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets.
Chapter 4, 5, and 6.
The book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
So Motai said he was going to send Elijah the prophet, which was a very powerful prophet if you know anything about these scriptures, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, which is when Christ returns. Read.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers.
So whoever this great prophet is going to turn us back to our fathers, which is the Bible, and the fathers back unto us or
That's
teach
right.
us.
That's
so
right.
I think, and we all know, about regeneration, that this could definitely be speaking about the bishop. That is the smartest man on earth, probably the most hated and the most loved.
Right.
That's it.
Let me get.
So as you see there, Akim, it looks like Iuic is basically saying that Nate is Elijah, the prophet. We do know that, according to, One West or some camps around, that have been associated with the founding of One West out of New York and that have split apart have also stated that Abba Bivens was Elijah. And, as we see here, it's another problem that's happening in Israel where you have men trying to put themselves as men that are in the scriptures, making themselves a reincarnation of. Another thing is, we know that there's been a belief that has been spread out by some of the elders of GMS that Tahar is the Apostle Paul. We've also heard that certain guys have been, believed in Watchmen, that one of them was, Peter and the other one was Paul. And, these are the type of things that these men say, that they try and gain a little better level of notoriety, because people want to believe that they're these particular men, or to make people believe that they're these particular men to basically garner more respect and adulation among the people. And this type of talk is part of the reason why a lot of these people are going to be led astray, and, they're going to be destroyed. Okay? Because that's one thing that, when you see people begin to say these type of things, it becomes a dangerous and slippery slope. This is one of the reasons why you have a lot of people that don't want to leave some of these groups, because they believe that they're following a particular man, they're following a particular apostle, they're following a particular prophet from the scriptures. And this is part of like the control mechanism. This has happened in the past. If you look at a lot of cults, they always try and, especially when you're talking about quote unquote religious cults that are based on the Bible, when the higher the control goes, the mind control goes, and the abuse goes, a lot of times they'll lead into these particular areas where they begin to say that the person that they are under, quote unquote, is this particular person in the scriptures. And that's what they run with. Okay, remember that, there was a belief that the guy who they call King Marsha was King David. Okay, these are the type of stuff that brothers have been told for decades, is this type of information. And if you get into some of these groups and you don't confess that certain men are certain men in the scriptures, you're not going to be around. Okay, so this type of thing is something that is very dangerous, and we have to be very much aware of it, and we have to call it out. Okay, so just keeping this one short, this is Acts chapter 5 and verse 36. This is an example of what has happened in time past, and it will happen again. For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody. Okay, and many times these people that boast themselves to be somebody, they boast themselves to be the Messiah. Okay, like you've had many false Christs, false messiahs. You've had men say that they came back and they were this particular prophet. Okay, and they led men astray, and ultimately it came to an end. All right, so boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all, as many as obeyed him, were scattered and brought to naught. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why we have to be familiar with this history, because there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, that which has been is that which shall be done. There's nothing new under the sun. This same type of modus operandi is done by former false prophets. to basically boast themselves or be somebody, especially somebody in the scriptures. So hopefully, this is edifying. And again, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahawashi, and grace and mercy be abound to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.